Hi guys, and welcome back to another devlog about Skyland. In the last devlog you guys decided what I should work on next. The winner was structures. So the first thing I did was cleaning up the editor from my previous game Polymole. Back there I used it so that the community could create levels for other people in the Steam workshop. So basically a similar approach to Mario Maker, but with a completely different game. Luckily it was mostly just erasing old code and restructuring the user interface a bit. I've also added features like selecting multiple objects and transforming them at once. The idea behind this editor is to create structures with it and use them in the game. But that's not all. You should also be able to give the entities certain conditions. For example, that it only has a 50% chance to actually spawn in the structure, or that it should search the nearest voxel that is solid and place the object on top of it. So this is what it looks like right now. You can rotate, translate, scale, delete and select entities. Whenever you select the entity, you will see its properties on the lower right corner and can change them. So for example, the wall has different types of walls, and this is where you can change which type it represents. My first structure that I built with it is this little goblin watchtower. The two boxes on the ground turn each voxel in its area into a dirt voxel, so that the watchtower doesn't feel so much out of place, and this is how it looks in the game. Spawning the structure in the chunk generation really just comes down to two simple lines of code that look like this. I tried to keep it as simple as possible so that I can create tons of different structures for the game. One user even suggested that I should release the editor so that the community can make structures, since I don't have enough time to create huge amounts of content. I'm not sure yet if I will do this, but for the time being I would seriously appreciate it if you could leave some suggestions for structures in the comment section. My imagination is very limited, and I think with your guys' help we could create something very special together. Dungeons are a very tricky topic, and the game will hopefully feature a lot of different ones in the game. They will reward the player with very good loot, but will also contain a lot of enemies and traps. So here is how my dungeon generation works right now. I'm placing 2 to 5 nodes randomly in a space of 8 by 8. Then each node has a 50% chance to spread to the neighbors, but each node has to spread out at least twice. I repeat this process until no node wants to spread anymore. Then I take those nodes and remove all that are fully surrounded by other nodes. The last step is to expand each node with a chance of 33%. Then I repeat this expansion again and we are done. This basically now represents a single floor. A dungeon has between 2 and 4 floors, so I simply generate more of those floors. Then I search random points on each floor that represent a dungeon room and connect it with another dungeon room from another floor. I do that by basically offsetting one of the two floors so that they meet up at exactly the same spot. So now I have a 3-dimensional array where zeros are solids and ones represent a dungeon room. This is where the editor comes into play. I automatically generate a 3D tile map and then I load those 3D tiles into my editor to change how they look. I added in clay pots that drop different ingots, coffins that contain loot, cobwebs, skeletons, sandstone walls, floors and pillars. And with the help of the conditions that I mentioned a minute ago, I can make the spawn rate of loot, clay pots, enemies and so on random. I also finally added shadows to the torch, adjusted the field of view and made the player a little bit smaller. And this is what dungeons look like right now. There's still room for improvements as always, but I kinda like how it turned out. Special thanks to my top tier patrons Shanna W. Goddess and Vegan Calisthenics. I've released the new source code of the game on Patreon, which includes the new pathfinding stuff, the editor and the dungeon generation. So if you want to support the development of Skyland, you should definitely check it out. And as always, here's how the codebase has changed in terms of lines of code over the last 2 weeks. I wasted a lot of time with fixing bugs, so that's why the video today is a little bit shorter than usual, but I hope you liked it anyways. I also have a Discord server, so if you want to talk a little bit about game dev or other stuff, you can head over there. Link is in the description. And yeah, that's it. See you guys and girls in 2 weeks. Bye!